Friends, how's it going? Ash here, welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. A little while back on the community tab of the YouTube channel, I asked you guys, what are fragrances that you were currently obsessed with? Fragrances that you have an unhealthy desire to wear and smell. And you let me know the obsessions that you have, and that's what we're talking about here today. And I gotta say, some of these choices, top notch. I'm gonna have all of your fragrance choices linked in the description below. Feel free to check them out down there. And as always, feel free to check out these codes and commit them to your memory. And one thing for those codes, Lucky Scent is changing on December 1st to Gents DEC. So that will be the new code for Lucky Scent. That will get you 10% off the website. It starts December 1st, and the Gents 10 code, no more. All right, let's jump into it. First off, we have a fragrance from Lithium BG, who says, it's hard to be obsessed with this single scent when you have 150 bottles. You don't say. You are preaching to the choir, brother. But at the moment, I'm enjoying LFA Cologne. I wore it yesterday and wanted to eat myself. Okay. So that's one way to go about it. Now I gotta say, LFA Cologne was mentioned over and over and over and over again, and I guess the reason that it is being brought up more is because in North America anyway, we're getting into fall and winter, or later on into fall, you know, when it starts to really get chilly anyway. Now, of course, when this first hit the market, it was huge. Immediately, everybody wanted it because it is a clone of Angel Share from By Kilian, and it's a really good one. Since this has come out, there are a bunch of other clones that are just as good as this one, so it's become a bit of a flooded market. But as I said, Cologne, a very popular choice. This was the very first one on the answers when I opened it up, so Cologne, the obsession is real. Then we got one from Spray Love Fragrance, who says, Jazz Club. It was my first buy ever, and a love-hate relationship throughout the years, but I can't get enough of the scent of this. I try to forget it from time to time. When I thought that it was over, I was suddenly aware that the autumn leaves were turning to the color of its scent. Yeah, a love-hate relationship. That's one way to put what you just wrote. You have a real deal relationship with this guy. I'd say Jazz Club for men, especially the most popular from the house of Maison Martin Margiela, and for good reason. It's a darn good scent. It's got booziness in there, it's got tobacco. I mean, you got me right there. You don't need to keep going. But it is a wonderful fragrance. The price is not that bad either. So even though I was making a little fun of you there, just poking you a little bit there, I agree with what you're saying. Camille7325 says, Maison Alhambra Exclusive Saffron. It's so well blended, beautifully balanced with all the notes and decent longevity. Yeah, let me remind myself of this one. How is it that it smells? Almost blasted myself in the face. So this is a clone of Carolina Herrera's Saffron Lazuli, and it is, frankly, a fantastic, amazing clone, especially when you consider that this is pretty cheap. When Fragrance Buy has this one in stock, I mean, it's just barely a smidge over $20. I think that's around what I paid for it. I have noticed that the boxes that these come in have a propensity to have the bottom part come undone. They listen to too much Weezer. The glue doesn't stick on so well and it just kind of falls off. Two of the boxes that I've had from this line have had that happen. But again, the price is low and the quality is extremely high. Then we got a fragrance choice from BB13131313. Eros Flame also hits the spot, especially this time of year. I'm assuming that there was another comment somewhere that I didn't see that was like separated by a bunch of other ones. Otherwise, it's like I just jumped into a conversation, mid-conversation, and have no clue what was said before. Eros Flame, I think, does hit the spot though. When it first came out, I was a little underwhelmed, truth be told, and then I wore it more and it grew on me a lot. I think it's a nice twist to the Eros DNA while still keeping what makes Eros Eros in there. Nice freshness to it. The Kenoto gives it a different kind of tinge. I think it's really well done and kind of weird also. Not in that the fragrance is weird, just that they have Eros Eau de Toilette, Eau de Parfum, Parfum, and then just randomly Flame. Now I've been saying this, I could be completely wrong, but I feel like there's gotta be an Eros flanker next year. Like 2024 has gotta have an Eros flanker. It's been a while, you know, they gotta put something out there. But for now, we'll stick with Flame. Before we go any further, a reminder that my 2 new fragrances are out. That is West Loop and Edgewater. They're back there, that's why I'm pointing. West Loop, really sweet, spicy, sexy, perfect for a fall and winter evening or daytime or a date. And then Edgewater, green, fresh, brisk, very lively, good for spring, summer, or fall. Both of those are out. You can check them out in the description at Michael Malloy's website. If you do, the code is GENTSCENTS, or you can find them in Perfumania or fragrance outlet stores across the US if you'd rather go into a store and check them out there. You cheated, man. Logan Snow, 7881. You gave me 2 fragrances. I said, which fragrance are you obsessed with? Not fragrances. You got some good choices. PDM Carlisle and Thameen's Carved Oud. They are performing at an elite level for me. What you're looking at here is peak male fragrance performance. Whether you like it or not, that's what you're seeing here. If you don't like it, it's a personal problem. Really though, I like both of these a lot. Carlisle, very strong performer just in terms of projection, longevity. It has a little bit of a similarity to Mancera's Red Tobacco, how it comes across. Not at all as aggressive with the spice though, much more refined, a little bit more earthy. And then Thameen's Carved Oud, that has a little similarity to Oud Wood from Tom Ford. It has that similar kind of sweet spiciness to it, that dark woodiness without going full bore medicinal or hard to wear animalic off-putting, none of that. Really classy, just a fantastic scent. Both of those are great. So yeah, elite. Sure, I'll let that one slide. I think that I can agree there. Helios Effect says, been loving Cocktail Intense by Fragrance World. Wasn't a fan of it when I got it in, but I let it sit for some 3 to 4 weeks and it absolutely rocks. I've been wearing it everywhere. Insane value. I had the exact same reaction. Cocktail Intense, when I first got this in, I mean, it's an obvious Angel Share clone, just in case anybody doesn't know what this one is. It's just like Camera, an Angel Share clone. But when I very first got this in and unboxed it and sprayed that bad boy on, I was like, it's all right. It's all right. Definitely not as good as some of the other ones out there. I also let it sit and then I came back to it. And then when I wore it the follow-up time, I was like, what happened here? Now the very initial 5 or 10 seconds, even still today, is not amazing. It's got like a little alcohol-y feel to it, but it goes away so fast, and then it smells awesome. Omid Kia, $15.99 says, Ferragamo's Spicy Leather is freaking awesome. Finally had a chance to get one 3 days ago and can't stop wearing it. Beautiful perfumery, smooth, classy, clean, well-balanced leather and spice with the right amount of sweetness, a cool weather masterpiece. Yes to all of that. Yes, spicy leather slaps. This stuff is really, really good. It's great. The problem with this one, if you want to call it a problem, is that it's not super easy to find at discounters. Basically, I think it got into stock like once at Fragrance Buy, and that's when I got my bottle, and that's pretty much it. The quality here is fantastic. It's so much better than you might expect if you just view Ferragamo as like a cheaper fragrance house. Now I know that a lot of people do not view Ferragamo that way, but some of the fragrances they come out with over the years have been available at discounters for like 35 bucks. So it's one of those deals where if you see, time after time after time, every fragrance from a house for that much at a discounter, you start to think, oh yeah, they're like down here, they're a lower level fragrance house or something. But this is top-notch stuff. This is fan-freaking-tastic. Gray Crow is up next, who says, with Versace Man gone, rest in peace, F's in the chat. Versace Man, not Versace Man of Fraiche. And I will say, Versace Man, when that was available at discounters for like $25, $30, oh man, what a crazy deal. I only have my one bottle, and I really wish that I had bought more. Which is goofy because like I'm not gonna wear all of them, but I just want like the backup, right? It's such a good fragrance. But anyway, with it gone, I just can't get enough of Versace Oud Noir. Oh, another fragrance that's kind of oud woody in a way. At least when you very first spray Oud Noir on, it's gonna remind you a little bit of good old oud wood. More pungent spices here off the top than with the mean. It's vaguely similar to oud wood. It's not the exact same as oud wood. It does go its own way, but it has also been presented over the years as an alternative to oud wood. If you wanted something kind of in that style, but for less, you could get this. And really, Oud Noir is just, in my opinion, probably one of the best, if not the best, designer oud fragrances that came out around this time frame where every designer house was popping out oud something or other. Corey Carpenter 4531 says, Herod, timeless IMO, as long as those times are cooler weather. This is really good. This is one of the best fragrances from Parfums de Marly, in my opinion. At least as far as men's goes, Herod's one of the best. And as far as that goes, one of the best wearable tobacco fragrances on the market. Great quality, good compliment factor, smells awesome from open to dry down. Yeah, Herod, it's a good choice. Actually, all of these are. I mean, you got some banging stuff in here, even the cheapies. Then we have Dexter 2768, who has a cool Dexter's Lab avatar. Says it's a tough 50-50 split between Moschino's Toy Boy and LFA Cologne. Absolutely addictive scents, both very different sides of the coin, but at the end of the day, I'd buy 1 million bottles of each fragrance. Love your content, by the way. Thank you, Dexter. So, like you said, very, very different. Cologne smells like Angel Share. Toy Boy, quite a unique fragrance, marketed toward men, but really more unisex, and it has a really nice floral makeup. It's not easy for everybody to wear, but for the people that do like it and can pull it off, it is so unique compared to what anybody else out there is wearing. Also a really nice magnolia note in there. Don't see that very often at all in men's fragrances. And good performance too, for better or worse. So that one I love just because of the difference of what you got going on here. And it's good to see a little Toy Boy here again. 2 more to go. Scott's collecting again. Hope it's going well for you. I know I'm rowing solo in this boat, but I'm obsessed with Paco Rabanne's Ultra Red. You're not rolling solo. I love that fragrance. It doesn't perform that great, but it's so cheap. And the fragrance is fantastic with the beautiful tonka bean accentuating the incredible citrus musk below. Ross compared it to Ultra Zest, which I have not smelled yet. Yeah, it's kind of similar to Ultra Zest. Definitely for the price point, you gotta go Ultra Red at this point, especially if you've never smelled Ultra Zest, then that means you don't know whether you really like it or not, and you don't want to spend that much money on what it's going for nowadays if you're not in love with it. So Ultra Red is a fragrance I did a video on back 3 years ago, I feel like at this point maybe. And it was something that I was so excited for because this fragrance had been impossible to find for years. Discontinued, only place you could find it was eBay, and it was stupid expensive. And then it popped up one day at FragranceNet, and it was like $35 or something, and I was just like, this has gotta be a mistake. So I bought like 3 or 4 of them. Now understand, at the time, the only place you could find Ultra Red was on the secondhand market, so mainly eBay. And 1 bottle of this stuff would set you back, you know, $200-300, some people asking even more because you couldn't find it, and you couldn't find it for years. And FragranceNet has in the past gotten in fragrances that were discontinued because, you know, they would find stock somewhere and then it would be like, oh, here you go. And when it sold out, it was gone. So I did a video on it and I was like, look, this stuff has been impossible to find for years. If you want it, I would get it now because it's probably gonna be done and gone and then be impossible to find yet again. And here we are, years later, it is still available for cheap. So either they found like 50 million bottles of this stuff that was like in a tomb somewhere and they were just like, oh, what the frig, what is this? What's all this Ultra Red doing here? You just give it to all the discounters, man. Either that happened or they're producing it again. But I don't understand why Paco Rabanne would suddenly, after years, be like, you know what? Ultra Red, ramp it up, let's go. Sunfall, la 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 la. You got 3 L's there, Sunfall, la la. And people never talk about Eau de Beau. What? I'm guessing because of how old it is, but I recently sampled it and immediately bought a bottle. A nice incense vanilla fragrance that lasts around 8 hours for me, perfect for the cold weather. I love Eau de Beau. Like, love, capital L-O-V-E, Eau de Beau. This presentation is not how it looks now. They shrunk down the bottle size and changed the label, but you know, it's still the same thing. As of this video, you can find this at Joma Shop for like 65 bucks, but it's not that expensive from L'Occitane at full retail either. It has an awesome cypress note in there, and it truly is one of the best unique vanilla incensey, you know, semi-green around the edges, woody fragrances out there. It's just top notch. I love this fragrance. So yeah, it doesn't get talked about as much, but this stuff, I have gone through probably 3 bottles over the years. So there we have some fragrances that you are obsessed with, and I have to tell you, these are all pretty awesome. Yeah, especially Eau de Beau. So that's gonna do it for me. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. I will see you guys later.